Hello everybody and welcome into Talladega Superspeedway. For a special event tonight, Saturday night, we got a doubleheader in FEG-PC money racing. Drivers finishing up practice now, unfortunately. Already has ruined my night. Overlay decided not to work tonight. Very upset. But either way, we're going to try to give these drivers the best we can with what we got. You just won't be able to see any information. I'll have to give it to you the best I can. You see it up there in the top left, internal server error. Just decided it wasn't going to work today, I guess. Some of the downsides, some of these overlays sometimes, man, it can be upsetting. But I do want to thank everybody for joining in. Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll work on the next one. Not relying on it, though. We will probably try to make some slight adjustments in between then and now. See if we can get some of the things set up, fixed, maybe. They did just finish up. They are starting qualifying now. It is single truck qualifying tonight. So we're taking a look here at John Ward. 92 truck pushed his teammate Ken McCall Jr. to a win the other night. John kind of gaining some momentum here down the stretch. Good looking 92 paint scheme. Looks like we're going to have pretty decent field for this first one. I wouldn't be surprised if we have an even bigger field for the later one, the big race. And I'll tell you what, while they're qualifying here, I am going to try to adjust a couple more things just to see if maybe it'll give me a little bit of luck. Help me out just a little bit. I don't think it will, as it usually doesn't, but it doesn't hurt to try, right? So we're going to try these things real quick. Thanks everybody though still for coming in here working with me. You are watching the Green Ghost on Ghost Racing Network. We still have some exciting events coming up nonetheless. FEG-PC Speed Week starts next week. A couple other events. League starting up in a couple weeks. Exciting time to be in the sim racing community. Couldn't be more proud to be a part of it. See John Ward hugging the yellow line. Trying to keep that truck nice and tight down there. That's how he's going to get the fastest lap he can possibly get. I think McCall Motorsports would like to start up front in this one if they can. Set themselves up nicely. See, they're still saying the same thing in the top left. Just not my night with SDK, it appears. I'll tell you what, I'm going to try just one more thing. Like I said, we will be back running full-time once we get to the actual race. Just trying to work out a couple more kinks, see if we can get any dice. I'll be right back. We did try something a little different, and it looks like it is still not working. Give it a refresh, see if this helps at all. Not looking like it. Awesome. Just one of those things, you know, man, real upsetting sometimes. Try to set up all these nice things for everybody. Comes out here to watch it, supports us. This is what you get in return. And they are lining up currently right now. So you're not missing anything. Like I said, we will get to the race. We will be broadcasting it. We were just trying everything we possibly could here right at the end. See if we could get some sort of luck, you know, but just not looking like it's going to work out. Giving it everything I've got to give it. And I got one more thing left I could try right here. And then that's going to be it. We're going to have to give up on it till the second race. Let's see what we can do right here. All right, the driver's still currently on their warm-up lap. Last intermission, and then we will be going green. Stay with us. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway. No overlays tonight, so if that's what you're seeing, that would be why. Either way, we're getting ready to go green here at Talladega. Jeff Merck did take the pole. His outside is going to be Ken McCall Jr. We would normally be going through the rest of the field. Not really going to happen tonight, though. We do have some new drivers. We'll be making some notes about them. You see all the paint schemes getting loaded in. These drivers getting loaded up, ready to go. This is the first of 2 races tonight. We will get you some of this information here. Going to have to do it the old-fashioned manual way. But Jeff Merck's going to lead him into the box. They're going to go green this time. Starter's got the flag in hand.
Green flag, green
Green flag is out. We're money racing here at Talladega. See, Ken McCall Jr. gets a pretty good start. He's got the 45. His new teammate, Eddie Hawks, behind him. John Ward, another McCall Motorsports driver to the inside. First Team 3 driver. It's going to be James Kaufman, that third truck on the outside line. Not able to get anything going just yet. Backstretch is usually where we're going to see this momentum start to swing. Usually swings to the outside. We'll see what happens here. Ooh, Eddie Hawks is locked onto the bumper. Jeff Merck thought about going high. Couldn't do it. Has to dive back down low. What a push from the 45. Gets his teammate clear. It looks like he is going to drop down. That'll open the outside up to Eddie Hawks. That truck would get hot real quick, so he's probably glad that that happened. This is a 30-lap race. I'll make sure I keep you updated on that 100% fuel. So these drivers should be able to make it. Bearing they save just a little bit. We had a 30-lap race the other night. Didn't affect. We got BB in the chat. How's it going, BB? Sorry we didn't have the overlay for you tonight. Wasn't meant to be. First lap is going to go to Ken McCall Jr. in the 03 truck. Take a look back a little farther in the field here. Jason Chilton, 14 truck. I believe I have seen that truck in official races. Don't know if I've ever seen him in a money race, so that might be a new driver. Good to see him in here. Kason Harnish, another driver that's making his way in here tonight. Don't usually see. Currently rounding out the field is William H. Scott, Daniel Eberhardt, and Dylan Jones. Those are a couple teammates. Those two getting ready to make a move. They got Matt Lee in front of them. We'll see what he decides to do. There's the 3 wide rule here in the FEG races. Can't forget that. Those first 2 laps, these guys can't go 3 wide. That rule is going to go away right here as we cross the line. Jeff Merck dives to the top lane, going to try to get a run. On the 03 truck, he's got help from John Ward. Side by side into turn 1. We have completed 2 laps so far here tonight. Down the backstretch, 60 of Jeff Merck. Didn't quite get the run I think he was hoping he would get. Duck Duck asks, is Ambrose in here tonight? I did not see Ambrose. He very well may be in the later one, though, so do not count that out. Matt Lee slowly working up to the field. He's got John Mullahan in front of him. Those two, don't know if they're considered official teammates, but they've been working together recently. They're working pretty good together nonetheless. But up front, Ken McCall Jr., he's been having a lot of momentum recently, hasn't he? Got himself a win the other night in the early race. He's going to try to carry them. Oh, no, early. Oh, Jeff Merck. They're not going to save this one. 81, Daryl Young back up the track. John Ward's in it. This is a pretty big wreck. And I tell you what, I don't know that the caution is necessarily out. I think it is. And no, actually, it is not out from what I can see here. You saw when we popped that up, no yellow in the top left corner. And they're still going full speed up here. How was that not a caution? Wow, looks like my overlay is not the only thing having problems tonight. iRacing decides it does not want to throw the caution. Cannot believe that. Let's go back and take a look at what happens. Unless I missed something, the caution is out. But like I said, it doesn't look like it. We'll figure it out here in just a moment. But let's see what happens here. Wow, this collects a bunch of them too. Unfortunate for a lot of... So it's going to start with Jeff Merck, it looks like. So we'll go find him here. Play this nice and slow for you. Oh, you see John Ward gives Jeff a bad push. That's going to send Jeff Merck into Ken McCall Jr. Jeff Merck trying to keep it together. Finally spins it out, though. Just hard to save a truck in that situation. Comes down, clips Daryl Young. That's going to send 81 back up the track. Right here, iRacing should throw the caution. Not sure what they're doing. They got a truck right up in the middle of the track. No caution. A lot of these guys still on the throttle. Not seeing that yellow come out. You see Daniel Eberhardt wisely slowing up to miss it. Matt Lee trying to squeeze through that. But some of them gather it up here, but almost like not really if you think about it. Got a couple on the grass down here. It looks like the 16, the 81, they're still spinning, making contact. And I'll tell you what, that one definitely has me baffled. We'll go back live, though. Up front, you see Ken McCall Jr. just now getting back on track. Yeah, so we never did have a caution. I think that face, BB, pretty much sums it up. Your new leader now is going to be Daniel Eberhardt. He's got his teammate Dylan Jones behind. And with the chance of not seeing a caution for the rest of this race, that's going to ruin it for a lot of guys. Such a promising looking night because there will be no required pit stops. I think if we do draw a caution, we would see one. Not right now. Currently first, though. Looks like going to go back to John Mullen. He's got to run with Matt Lee on the outside. Their Team 3 teammate and James Kaufman. The third truck in line as they're working into the tri-oval. Daniel Eberhardt has his teammate in Dylan Jones, but they don't have that third truck, so that will put John Mullen out in front. See what he decides to do with it. Looks like he is going to stay up for the moment. As we see, I believe that was Daryl Young coming back out onto the track. So there are not many cameras. Let's see, we can actually take a look at everybody that's taken out in this. Looks like, oh, in the 16, we didn't really get to give him even a shout out before he had to retire to pit road. The 16, Gary Studding Jr., new driver in here. Hate to see that for you, Gary, man. Wish. Daryl Young, he's all beat up. Jeff Merck, he's in the pack. Looks like he was able to stay with the pack. Ken McCall Jr. currently not a lap down, but by himself, going to be in danger of going a lap down. Kaysen Harnish, William H. Scott, looks like the last truck currently still hanging with the pack. Definitely did make it smaller. I believe the payout is, and I can check on this, it is top 4 for this early race. Remember, the second one is going to be the bigger race with an $800 payout. Stay tuned for that one. Yeah, it was going to be a $425 payout. And that was based, I'm not sure exactly how many drivers it was based off, but I'd guess. Let's say it was based off 30 entries. It looks like it was, and we have 16 tonight, so it is just over half payout. So that is going to scale down to that margin, but that's still really good payouts, no matter which way you look at it. John Mullihan still sticking to the outside. I think he just feels more comfortable there. Always like having your teammates behind you. Same reason you got Daniel Eberhardt sticking to the bottom. He knows Dylan Jones isn't going nowhere anytime soon, sticking right to his bumper. Some damaged trucks still hanging in this pack. You saw one right there, a little bit farther back in the picture, I believe. I can tell, was this Eddie Hawks? Yep. Yeah, Eddie's front of that truck's pretty banged up. The 92's got some damage. A lot of guys going to be pretty upset at the end of this one. Jeff makes sure he keeps these rules consistent. That rule includes cautions are on iRacing. Sometimes iRacing just misses it almost. Best way to put it, I guess. Still got a good pack, though, for only top 4 going home with money. It's like Jeff in the chat says Ambrose is having internet issues. That's why we don't see him out here. That would make me not the only one having some issues tonight. You can see it here if you want to see. We're on lap 10. Remember, it's a 30-lap race. Nobody's going to have to pit. Not even halfway through yet. Still a little bobbing and weaving. You saw Jeff Merck a little wiggly on the bottom. Take a look at your blimp cam. You see some of those trucks. Maybe some of the ones with damage. That might be. Let's see if this is Eddie Hawks, maybe. I think it is, because he did have that. Yep. So Eddie Hawks had that damage, now starting to fall back. Just can't hang on to that draft after so long when you have damage like that. Hate to see it. 2-truck. William H. Scott recognizes it. He's going to pull high. Looks like the 16. Gary Studding Jr. is going to go with him. I'll tell you what, we may not have an overlay tonight, but that's not going to stop us from doing a Saturday night. Crank it up. Here we go. that is going to do it for tonight's first segment of Crank It Up. With the doubleheader, we will get to have the chance to have a second one. Hope everybody did enjoy. Daniel Eberhardt and John Mullihan still duking it out. You see that outside line only has 3 trucks. That is all you need. You got those 3 trucks. The first one's the lead truck. That second one is the pusher. And the third one stays nice and tight to keep the pusher, Matt Lee, in this case, as close as he can to John Mullihan's bumper. Seems like the outside always favors the runs, especially down the back stretch and on the front stretch. And the turns, that's usually where the inside can make back the ground they lose. You see it right there. Daniel Eberhardt's digging on the inside. He's got his teammate behind him. Jeff Merck, we saw kind of the first truck to get spun in that major incident that didn't bring out the caution. We'll see if anybody back here is linked up. Danny Eshelman currently not even on the track. Gary Studding Jr. a lap down. Darrell Young a lap down. Ken McCall Jr. a lap down. You see he's going to tag onto the back of this pack. Doesn't look like McCall Motorsports has a ton of teammates in here tonight. It might only be John Ward and Ken McCall Jr. from what I saw. It's a little rare. Don't see that too often. I don't think we will see this 2-wide action. Remember, only top 4 get paid. Some of these front runners, it might be teammates, but they're not going to want to stay like that. James Kaufman, he is a teammate, but he would be out of the money right now. Jeff Merck, don't know if he's got a team. I know he would like to get himself some money. We are still side by side. Take a look. You see it in the bottom right here. Completed lap 14. We're coming to complete lap 15 right now. So we are halfway through right as they cross the line here. It's going to be 15 more laps to go. Don't think we'll see the aggression show up until we hit about... It just depends, you know, Ken McCall Jr. being... He should be in the lucky dog position right now. Not that... Well, no, actually, Jeff Merck. So I do apologize. I didn't even notice at the time. But yes, Jeff Merck is currently a lap down. Kind of was wondering. We saw him get wrecked. The truck still looked clean. I thought maybe he just didn't get damaged. But no, he is a lap down. And now it's actually... Cannot tell. Let's see if it shows us in results. You see it here. All these trucks right here, laps down. So that is going to set it up. 11 out of your 16 drivers right now on the lead lap. But he does have their fast repair if we get a caution. I think a lot of them already had to pit and use it, though they realized. Still think we'll see a bigger turnout in this second race. Don't get me wrong, this is a good turnout. We've seen these early races starting to take off in the last couple weeks. Had one last night. A little bit of a new format with a capped I rating. And I'll tell you what, I wasn't broadcasting it, I was in it, and there was a lot of new rookies, new guys in there, and it's good to see. Keeps the community healthy, keeps it fresh. Oh, you see the 51 get up in the wall just a little bit there in the back. Not going to be an issue, but that is Kaysen Harnish. Another truck involved in that early incident. I'll tell you what, we are going to go to break just real quick. We do have some business just to attend to. We'll be right back. We're going non-stop. before we get back to full screen here after we ran some ads. This is a big event coming up. We already got the broadcast links out. FEG-PC Speed Week. It's actually kind of the eve, if you will. It's going to start this week. Starts Wednesday, February 1st in the ARCA Menard Series. Then we have to head over to the Xfinity Series. And then the big race on Friday is going to be in the Truck Series. Those first two, the ARCA and the Xfinity, will be streamed on Ghost Racing Network. We will have the overlays fixed for that, no doubt about it. Let's go back live, though, now to the action on track. You didn't miss anything. You saw it there in side-by-side. John Mullihan, Daniel Eberhardt. Those two have been just duking it out here pretty much since we had that little mix-up early on. Not sure if Matt Lee will stay behind the bumper of that 7 truck once we get to the end. I think Dylan Jones will. Doesn't necessarily have anywhere to go. Those two have really good chemistry together. Don't usually see them making a move on each other. They're kind of a package deal, if you will. Stick together. Hope it works. Do have a couple, looks like maybe a couple stragglers in the pack. Jeremy Osborne, haven't talked about him yet today, but one of the only trucks without a team that's hanging on to the back of this pack. Got James Kaufman in front of him. Jason Chilton, John Ward, those two also still in this main pack. Unfortunately, Eddie Hawks not able to hang on, so right now it is about an 8-truck race. We'll zoom out a little bit here. We'll go to our blimp cam so you can actually see it. These trucks behind, they need to line up. If they're not careful here, they are going to lose that main pack. They should still be in the draft. They might be a little worried they're going to get a little crazy up there, but I think you got to stay a little closer than that, especially when they're too wide with only this few trucks. If you lose that draft, it is over. Thankfully for drivers like John Ward, he does have his teammate Ken McCall Jr. Looks like a fresh truck. In the middle of the mix right there. Yeah, there we go. You see him right there. Puts the throttle down on that 14 truck, and they catch him in an absolute hurry. Maybe could have even made a run at it. Decided not. You see Ken McCall Jr., though, hopping up. That's good news for John Ward. He knows he will get some help. We'll see what he decides to do here. That 92 truck on the bottom, sticking low right now, does have a little bit of damage. Not sure if it's going to affect him at all, and at a certain point, you got to wonder if John Mullihan gets cleared, does he go down low? Matt Lee not really had to push too hard right now, but once we get to the end, he's going to have to push. Those truck temps are going to start going way up. If he gets clear, he might be saying, hey, man, I really need you to go low here. If we stay high, I'm going to blow this thing up. Doesn't want to back off, especially at the end. But Ken McCall Jr. may be a lap down. He's going to make these guys race for it. Looks like Daryl Young is also back up here. Another driver not on the lead lap, Kaysen Harnish. One thing that always makes these races up front interesting, you can't avoid the lap cars at tracks like this. You can get around them, but with the, I guess people call it the equalizer, if you will, the draft at tracks such as Talladega and Daytona, this is what happens. Starting to bob and weave. That tri-oval's really not, you can't push in the tri-oval, we know that, but it gets very bumpy at one point in the tri-oval. It's the widest part of the track, though. That's sometimes where we'll see the 3-wide move first get made. 4-wide move to the line, best place to do it. We'll show you it again here. You see it, we are on lap 23. Race ends at the end of lap 30. So we are coming to 7 to go this time. We'll show you, though, make sure everybody knows when we have the white flag. If you are just joining in, did have overlay problems tonight, unfortunately. You see it there in the top left, internal server error. Tried everything we could, and we are certainly going to try some more before the second race tonight. Either way, it's still been some great racing so far, besides that one incident we saw with the caution. Everybody stayed up here. I think we'll get a little bit bigger of a field for the second race. Everybody will stay nice and tight. Bigger payouts for that one. I believe just under double the payout for the second race that it would be for this race. People see that. That gets them excited. I think we will see most of the drivers return that are in this race to the next one. Matt Lee, John Mullihan, Daniel Eberhardt, Dylan Jones. Wonder if they're all talking to each other right now. Hey, man, I'll push you to this one. But when I'm out there in the lead in that next one, I'm going to need your help. Either way, laps starting to wind down here at Talladega. FEG Money Racing doubleheader night. Who's going to win race 1 or 2? Daniel Eberhardt, John Mullihan. Can't really give give credit to either one of them because they've both been so good since they got up here. Big part of that is their pushers, Matt Lee, Dylan Jones on the inside. Jeff Merck kind of playing as a pick. We'll see what happens with him. He is a lap down truck. So I think his goal at this point is just to help whoever he wants to help. We'll ride on board. Let's go ride on board actually with Dylan Jones. See, he's not as close as he needs to be yet. Doesn't want to get that truck too hot. You see the temps hovering around 220 right now. Those temps will go up, get a lot hotter once we get later and later on in this race. Sean Mullahan, though, the best view in the house. Him and Daniel Eberhardt sharing that view. See the job Matt Lee's doing pushing right now. You hear me, he has to burp the throttle just a little bit. You may not hear that as much. Then about the final 5 laps, he stays nice and tight right here. This is kind of where they're just using the air to stay even. And then once he gets to this backstretch, if he wants to push, this is where he can do it. Truck kind of steadies out. Look at the run they're getting. Not going to be enough. Dylan Jones going to fight back. Keep his teammate dead even. That's all they really need to do right now, especially if no one can get the advantage. Have not seen any 3 wide yet. Who's going to make that move first? Jeremy Osborne. Got to think if he goes, he'll get some help from Ken McCall Jr. John Ward, the 03's teammate. I know he would certainly get some help. And I think if I had to put my money somewhere, that's what I'm going to put it on. I think this 92, before we get to the end of this thing, John Ward's going to go up to this top lane, get his teammate behind him, and those two are going to make a charge to the front. And that might draw some of these other drivers, such as Jeremy Osborne. See if Matt Lee can try to defend it. James Kaufman, what will he do? He's got his teammate up there in the lead on the outside line. I know he wants some money for himself. He currently would be out of it. Only top 4, so those first 2 rows as we stand are the only guys going home with some cash from this first race. But you can certainly try to make yourself some friends for the second one. You see it right here. Lap 27 coming to lap 28. Winding down to the end of this thing. It's going to be 3 laps to go this time. Still side by side, no 3 wide move yet. Anticipating it. I think once the 92, if he does, jumps up into that top lane, that's when to expect it. A little surprised he really hasn't yet. Everyone's staying very docile right now. Even Jason Chilton. Just kind of seen him staying up here. Nothing too aggressive. I know Ken and John are in a chat. I want to keep an eye on him because I just really think the move's going to come from somewhere back here. John's truck a little beat up, though. Maybe making him question himself. The front of it looks clean, though. That's usually the only part that really affects you. Although the right, pretty banged up. Jeremy Osborne looks like he's thinking about 3 wide. He is. Not going to get any help, though, for the moment. He's going to have to tuck back in line. Now the 92 slides up to the top lane. John Ward thought about it for a second. Going to go back down low. I think they're talking. Ken says, hey, John, it's time to go. They're getting a run here. Watch out. We'll see if Jeremy Osborne can block it. If he can't, watch for the move right here from the 92. We'll make this camera angle a little bit wider. There they go. McCall Motorsports teammate Jeremy Osborne trying to slide up. It looks like he's going to be able to. John Ward, Ken McCall Jr. are going to leave him, though. Go back to the middle lane. They'll wait till they can get by. Once they can, we'll see the pushing. We'll show you it right here. They're coming to lap 30. It'll be the white flag this time. This race is not over yet, not by any means. I think Jeremy Osborne will go with these 2. 3 wide again to the outside. James Kaufman can't block it. What does Matt Lee do? Side by side to the tri-oval. White flag, I do believe this time. No more cautions. Outside line, can't get anything going just yet. Not sure if it's the damage or if they just need that 3rd truck. Oh, they are coming up on some lappers ahead. This might get a little sketchy. Nobody can bail out now down the backstretch. John Mullahan and Daniel Eberhardt still side by side. Ken McCall Jr. is pushing on his teammate with everything he's got. They can't seem to generate any momentum, though. Out of turn 4 for the final time. into the short chute before the tri-oval. Still side by side. The advantage now goes to the 7 truck. Daniel Eberhardt getting a push from his teammate. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Side by side, it's going to go to Daniel Eberhardt in the 90 truck. What a race. What a finish. It's been a little while since we've got to see one of those classic side-by-sides pushing. Dylan Jones, though, gets it done, gets his teammate a nice win here. Nicely done. The driver of the 90 truck. I'll tell you what, I thought the 7 of John Mullihan had it at the end there. It looked like they had the run, and all of a sudden, big head of steam. And we'll go back and take a look at it. Into the tri-oval here. Nice and slow for you here. I think at this point, I saw Matt Lee getting the run, and I thought for sure this outside line has it, but you see him dipping a little low. Causes James Kaufman to fall off the general line just a tiny bit. And then right here, Dylan Jones locks on. You see Matt Lee a little offset where Dylan Jones is squared up. And then when they kind of go the middle here, they lose that extra push they were getting from the 3rd truck. Daniel Eberhardt wins it by about half a truck length. And that's the finishes we like to see. We're hoping we see one just as nice in the second one. We're going to go check just to make sure. I don't think... Tell you what we're going to... Yeah, we will go look for your top 3. I had to think about it for a second. If we can't find your top 3, we'll go work on this issue, but we'll be right back. Stay with us. All right. And we did not find Daniel Eberhardt or Dylan Jones. Those two got good team chemistry, so I believe they're somewhere else right now. We did find your second place finisher, though, John Mullihan. John, you got a copy?
Copy, Austin.
Well, I'll tell you what, John. I thought you had it there at first come to the line. It looked like Matt Lee, who stuck with you pretty much all race, was pushing you really good. Looked like you guys had the momentum. All of a sudden, the 90 steals it right at the line. What happened?
Oh, man, first off, let me give a big shout out and credit to Matt Lee and Jim Kaufman. We run a heck of a race. We were able to avoid the big one. There at the end, if you go back and look at the replay, there were a couple lap cars who just didn't get out of the way fast enough, and I think it may have given that lower line and Mr. Eberhardt the advantage there on the bottom. But either way, nonetheless, good win by Mr. Eberhardt and an awesome effort by Team 3 tonight.
Certainly an awesome effort. Looked like all 3 of you were lined up in the outside line. Give us a little insight what happened there early. We saw a pretty big wreck, and somehow no caution came out. What was the deal with that?
I really don't know, Austin. I'd be lying if I said I have a good breakdown of that. I kind of go into the matrix when things start going sideways, and I just try to navigate through it. So I don't really know who the wreck entailed or what exactly set it off, but I was just fortunate enough that myself and Matt Lee and Jim Kaufman were able to make it through tonight.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations again on that second place finish. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Oh, big shout out Team 3, Matt Lee, Jim Kaufman, the old lady, both my sons, Jackson, Carter, all the guys at Will Jewelry and Loan and Treasure Hunt. Thank you for watching.
All right. Thank you. That is your second place finisher, John Mullihan. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him in the second race. We'll see if he can get the win this time.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
And I'll tell you what, we are going to go back and take a... Actually, let's see if we can find... You heard John say it sounded like a couple lap cars. I thought I remember seeing them, actually. And he said maybe they just got in the way a little bit. Gave that 90 a little bit of a draft, so we'll speed it up right here for you so you can see it on the back. And we'll go to TV3. Actually, let's go to the blimp cam. This might give us a better... Inside, looking for it right here. Oh, you see the lap cars ahead. Lined up on the bottom. And you see, ooh, it looks like the inside may have just caught the draft coming into the tri-oval. And that certainly does, yep, that certainly looks like the case. Kind of wondering for a moment. The sudden pull, a little bit unfortunate for that outside lane. Those lap cars came up at the perfect time. Either way, this is going to wrap it up for this first broadcast. Tell you what we are going to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go work on some of the issues with the overlays. I doubt we'll be able to fix them, but we are certainly going to try everything possible. Want to thank everybody for coming out to this race. We'll have everything nice and set for you next week no matter what. Don't forget to tune into the next one. FEG doubleheader continues next. We'll see you in that one.